Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be on right now. It's been a couple of weeks of excitement, getting prepared, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but this has got to be close to the top.
Thank you, Reader's Magnet, and thank you, John, for putting this forth and taking the chance on us authors in presenting this out to the world.
I've enjoyed this immensely, Joanne.
Ellie, so have I. Thank you for who you are, and thank you, Reader's Magnet. You all are beautiful, and you've worked so very hard, and we are blessed.
We are.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers. We thank Reader's Magnet and everybody that's involved. I love Reader's Magnet. They say, we share your stories with the world.
Welcome.
Well, welcome back, everybody. It's me, Jennifer RABAGO-ROMAN, and I'm here with my lovely book, Remembering My Real Life. Remembering My Real Life is a journey from when I was a little girl, about little experiences, all the way up to when I got married. And it's about little beautiful poems that tell you about little places that I went, and beautiful little poems that consist of little places, like I say, where you might go, like a person's heart, or to a person's touch, to watching a beautiful white snowdrop, where it turns into a beautiful mass of snow, to being in a person's arms, to being with best friends, to being outside, to a special night, to being in the night, to being near water, to being in the moonlight, to being basically anywhere. Poetry can take you anywhere you want. So the only problem is I can't tell you everywhere you go in this book, because it takes you many different places, and I can't give away every single place that in the book, because the reader must read the book. And where can you get this beautiful book? You can get it at Amazon.com. Yes, you can. You can get it at Amazon. So pick it up today at Amazon.com for yourself, for your family, and for your friends, especially for this holiday season that's coming up. Okay? All right. And you can also pick it up at my website at www.rememberingmyreallife. Plus, I also have some beautiful blogs there if you'd like to do some blogs. Okay? Thank you so much. All right. So let's get to a topic. All right. So today's afternoon topic is going to be about spirituality. spirituality. Oh, thank you, Dakota. I appreciate that. That she says that I look amazing. And I like to, because you know why? When I look amazing, I feel amazing. And that's how you should feel. When you look amazing, you feel amazing. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. So today's topic, like I say, is on spirituality. So what exactly is spirituality? Most people don't know, but I'm going to tell you. So spirituality is a broad concept with room for many perspectives. In general, it includes a sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves. It typically involves a search for a meaning in life. As such, it is a universal human experience, something that touches us all. People may describe a spiritual experience as sacred or transcendent, or simply a deep sense of aliveness and interconnectedness. Some may find that their spiritual life is intricately linked to their association with a church, a temple, a mosque, or a synagogue. Others may pray or find comfort in a personal relationship with God or a higher power. Still, others seek meaning through their connections to nature or by art. Like your sense of purpose, your personal definition of spirituality may change throughout your life, adapting your own experiences and relationships. Here are some spiritual questions that you might want to ask yourself and explore life's purpose, because for many, spirituality is connected to large questions about life and identity. So let's go through these questions, okay? So here's the first one. The first question is, am I a good person? The second one is, what is the meaning of my suffering? Third is, what is my connection to the world around me? Fourth is, do things happen for a reason? Wow, that's a big one. And fifth is, how can I live my life in the best way possible? Wow, I think that's a big, big question. So, does anybody have a question yet there? There we go. I knew somebody would say something. Fairgoer 2081 says, everything happens for a reason. You are extremely correct, Fairgoer 2081. Unfortunately, sometimes things happen for a reason, especially because there's a lesson to be learned, and we must learn from that lesson. So, spirituality versus emotional health. You will receive notice as you read on that. Oh, Fairgoer 2081 says, you may not understand the reason now, but you will eventually. You are exactly correct, Fairgoer 2081. And please keep your comments and your questions coming. That's what this is for. I want you to be all in, because this is exactly what this is for. Okay, so let's keep going, because I want to educate you on spirituality. This is a huge topic that you guys need to know. So, you will notice that as you read on about many practices that are recommended for cultivating spirituality are similar to those that are recommended for improving emotional well-being. This is because there is a connection between two emotional and spiritual well-being influence one another and overlap, as all do aspects of well-being. One, spirituality is all about seeking a meaningful connection with something bigger than yourself, which can result in a positive emotion such as peace, awe, contentment, gratitude, and acceptance. Two, emotional health is about cultivating a positive state of mind, which can broaden your outlook to recognize and incorporate a connection to something larger than yourself. So see, those two things are completely different. So now we're going to talk about the benefits of a spiritual life. No direct causal link has been established, but research has consistently found that religious involvement is correlated with better physical and mental health, including better sleep. What was I talking about the other day? Better sleep, but not for long amounts of time. Lower blood pressure and an overall lower rate of mortality. Excuse me. Higher levels of spirituality have also been linked to an increased compassion, strengthened relationships, and an improved self-esteem. Does anybody have a comment or a question right now from that? No? Okay. Okay. Oh, Fairgoer 2084. How do you achieve a high level of spirituality? Well, 2084, do you mean myself or just in general? Excuse me. In general. Okay. So for a person to achieve a higher spirituality, they could do anything. You could go outside for a nature walk and you could really connect spiritually. It just depends what you like to do. You could also do some some yoga. You could meditate. Not yoga, I apologize. You could just meditate. That's another form of being spiritual. You could do anything just to be spiritual. It's anything that you like to do that connects you to be spiritual. Every single person is different. It just depends what you like to do that makes you want to be spiritual. So I hope I could answer your question in some way. That's why I say it just depends on the person and what they prefer to do. That's why I say you could go outside for a walk, or you could meditate, or you could You could write poetry. You know, sometimes I write my poetry. Another thing I do is I color in my spiritual coloring book, because it's a spiritual coloring book. And the angels, they love it when I color in it, because they connect to that coloring book. They love it when I color in that book, and I can sense that they're around me when I color in that book. But it has to be a spirit, it has to be specifically a spiritual coloring book. And that can be purchased at Amazon, that spiritual coloring book. So it just depends, like I say, on the individual. Okay? Right. Okay. Thank you for your question. Okay. So there may be a downside for people who avoid religion and spirituality altogether. Some research has indicated that eschewing, quote, magical thinking and being unable to identify patterns in the surrounding world may be linked to depression or anhedonia, the inability to experience pleasure. Well, that doesn't sound nice. Excuse me. Are spiritual Are spiritual people more generous? What do you think? Fairgoer 2085 says, do you think you can achieve spirituality when being religious? Yes, you can, Fairgoer 2085. You can achieve spirituality without being religious. 100%. You can be spiritual without being religious. It's all up to the individual. If you want to be spiritual, totally. It's all up to it's your decision. Thank you for your question, though. So, are you a spiritual, are spiritual people more generous? What do you think? Tell me what you think. Are spiritual people more generous? I'd like to know what you think. Let me know. I'm curious to know. Fairgoer 2085 says they think so. What does anybody else says? I like what you say, Fairgoer. What does anybody else say? I think so too. So let's find out, shall we? So people who have Fairgoer 2084 says, I'm not sure. I haven't met a lot of spiritual persons. Okay. Well, that's a fair statement to say. So let's find out. So people who have endured experiences of intense psychological turmoil, research finds that often emerge much spiritual and altruistic than they were before. For example, they are more likely to donate a kidney to a stranger. What some would call a spiritual awakening leads to people to become less materialistic, more empathetic, and more generous. Wow. How's that for being more spiritual? I'm proud of you guys. See, you were right, Fairgoer 2084. I compliment you. I can't remember the other number, the Fairgoer, but I knew they would be. But yes, they are more generous. And I figured they would be as well. So, yes, they are. So, the search for a meaning, an instinct toward spirituality, appears to be deeply ingrained in humans. We can't help but ask big questions. Research finds that even declared religious skeptics can't stifle a sense that there is something greater than the physical world they see. Wow, that's something. As the brain processes sensory experiences, it naturally looks for patterns, and our conscious selves often seek meaning in those patterns. This can lead to the phenomenon known as cognitive dissonance, which describes how once one believes in something, one is strongly inclined to try to explain away anything that conflicts with it. Cognitive dissonance is not unique to religion or spirituality, but often occurs in the context of such beliefs. Do spiritual experiences affect the brain? Wow. That's a good question, too. I sure think so. Do spiritual experiences affect the brain? That's a good question, too. Again, what do you guys think? Any hands? Yes? No? Anybody? Okay, well, studies show that the brain may react in similar ways to diverse spiritual experiences. Oh, here we go. Took a little time because it's long. So Fairgoer 2086 says, I believe so. If being spiritual makes you more generous, then it might affect the way you think too. I totally agree with you, Fairgoer. Thank you for your comment. So, when people described times they felt oneness, infinity, or connection to a higher power, they had less activity in the inferior parietal lobe, usually active during representations of oneself in space and time, indicating that people may temporarily lose their sense of self during spiritual experiences. Wow. That's unbelievable. I can't believe it. That's just, that's pretty big. I would have thought so. Has anybody ever had any spiritual experiences? Fairgoer 2086 is saying that they love my eyeshadow today. And what's the color? I'll close my eyes just so you can see it. Thank you, Fairgoer. The color is actually, it's a roller ball, and it's a gold roller ball that I got. So I thank you for that nice comment. And I got it from Wish. They come in 4 colors. They come in gold, pink, and 2 other colors. I actually am going to get some of the other colors because they're really pretty. And I've noticed that the pinks look really good on me lately. So I'm going to get the pink. Yes. But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. So let's see. So the goal of spirituality is defined differently in different paths. Here are just a few examples of spiritual goals. Now, give me one moment so I can get a sip. Okay, so for Buddhism, they achieve the cessation of suffering, like enlightenment or nirvana, where they see reality for what it is. They uproot mental defilements. Wow, that's interesting. Another one is yoga. Oh, there's part of your an answer to what the other fairgoer was asking. I didn't know if that was actually an answer, but that could actually be an answer to your question before. Yoga, because it can purify the mind, so to achieve liberation, where it can unite the individual soul with the universal soul. What in the world? Becoming one with the absolute consciousness. Be the true self. And I tell you, because I do yoga is fantastic. It really, really helps you, and it helps you get really focused, and it's a really great way to connect spiritually. And as long as you start small and do a short yoga, don't go fast. You have to start low and work your way up. That's the way that you do yoga, because you can hurt yourself. Okay. The next one is Vedanta. That's where you realize the true self. You dissolve the knot of the ego, which limits pure consciousness to a body mind. The next one is Sufism. This is where a person experiences a divine revelation, and you surrender to God and you serve God. Wow, that sounds beautiful. But remember, no matter what your religion is, we all look up to God, no matter what your religion is. Okay, the next one is, is that too much in the way? The next one is Christian mysticism. This is where you experience union with God and the kingdom of heaven, and you feel the love of the Creator. Oh, that sounds beautiful. The next one is Taoism and Taoism. Oh, I've heard of this. This is where the individual lives in harmony with the Tao, and the person cultivates their body, their mind, and their spirit. And they cultivating and they're subliminate, excuse me, and they're subliminating energy. Normally, Asians do this. I've seen it because my husband has done this with Asian movies, and I've seen him do it. It's very interesting to watch. Oh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Oh, okay. I was stuck there for a moment. Excuse me. Okay. And it's very interesting to watch Taoism and Taoism, because when they do it, they put on these robes and they use these swords and stuff, and it's very interesting to watch. But it's a beautiful form that they do, and to watch it, it's very, very interconnected, and it's very beautiful. So it's very sacred for them to watch. The next one is Kabbalah. This is where a person learns the ultimate laws of the universe. Oh, excuse me. This is where, oh wow, excuse me. This is where the person knows the Creator and their one self, and they live accordingly. The next one is Jainism. This is where the person is liberated, and they have salvation, and they have karmic purification, and they become a perfected being. It's known as also Siddha, Siddha. I've never heard of that one. The next one is shamanism. This is where a person lives in harmony and has a connection with nature. And the person develops the knowledge with power to work with invisible forces. And they serve with spiritual welfare of the community, and they heal their soul. That sounds so beautiful, but I'm definitely not a shaman. Most shamans are in other countries, I've heard. So regardless of how the goal is framed and the philosophy behind it, wisdom traditions ultimately offer us techniques for personal transformation, for moving beyond our personal shell. This can be for the sake of growth, service, transcendence, overcoming suffering, union with a higher principle, internal freedom, happiness, etc. Okay, so those are the different types that are there that people do. Does anybody have any comments or questions at this time? It's a lot to take in, right? Yeah, and even for me it is. And it's very interesting. No, no comment, no question. Here we go. Daniel says, being one with nature is pretty interesting. I wonder how they do that. I totally agree with you, Daniel. I agree. But you know what? I love being with nature myself. I used to do it all the time when I was little. I would take my original poetry book. See, inside it has all my original poetry, because this is the original poetry book that my dad gave me when I was little. He gave this to me when I was 11, and I always wrote in it, and I love this book. That's how I got the idea for my book. And I always took it down to this little down the street on Powder Mill Road, and I would be with nature. I would go down the street on Powder Mill and I would be with nature. There was this like little river, and there were these big rocks, and I would sit with nature, and I would just be with nature outside, and I would hear the birds chirping, and I would hear the water like kind of crashing a little bit, because it was crashing over the rocks, and I would just hear everything, and it would be so wonderful, and and I would just connect with it, and I would get a little bit spiritual, and then I would write a poem because of the nature of being outside. So I know what you mean. Exactly. And it's very comforting to be outside. So Fairgoer 2090 says, so you started writing these poems when you were little? Yes, I did. I started writing poems when I was little, and I still write to this day. Do you have any other questions? Fairgoer 2090 says, how do I achieve those curls? Well, normally I have naturally curly hair because of my dad, because he's Cuban, but I use a curling iron to get these beautiful curls because I want to look a little bit different. That's how I achieve these curls, because I want to get a different look. But thank you for your question. So shall we try to talk a little more about spirituality? Okay, let's see. Where was I? Spiritual practices, right. Every spiritual practice should serve a definite purpose according to what drives us to spirituality and the goal we are seeking. I call this approach pragmatic spirituality. It's not about continuing a tradition or doing something because we should, we feel we should, in quotes, but to actively explore our inner world, driven by a specific question, thirst, or goal. This is a prayer present in this all thestic paths. Prayer is an exercise of directing our mind to the divine with devotion and surrender. Breath and energy work. These are specific ways of breathing and moving our attention through the body. Somatic techniques. In conjunction to breath work, some traditions use body postures and movements for developing health, freeing energy flow, and other purposes. Qualities of mind and heart. All traditions speak of the development of certain qualities of mind and heart. Chanting, oh my, this is a huge topic. Chanting is used in some paths as a means of prayer, study, and focusing of the mind in preparation for meditation. The different spiritual paths help, like the path of knowledge removes anxiety by giving you the realization of your true self, which is the incapable of anxiety. The path of devotion, which is anxiety, is surrendered wholeheartedly to the principal entity that you are devoted to. You can live carefree then. The path of meditation, you learn how to master the mind and pacify anxiety through breathing and by choosing where to focus your attention. The path of service, by dedicating your whole being to a larger cause. The anxiety of living is overcome then. The path of energy, you learn is to how to transform your energy of anxiety by working with it in your body and through breathing. That is how you can try to develop some of your spirituality. So in Compass, you can now get the spirituality all inside of you based on what you have learned. So, sorry. Wow. It tends to happen, like you say. So, based on all of everything that you've learned on spirituality, is there anything that you'd like to ask? If not, then you may ask anything else. Plus, I would like to know, is there any other topic that you would like me to talk about in the next further days? Okay. Oh boy. How about a topic on LGBTQ and racism? Oh boy. That's a very big topic. LGBTQ and racism. About loving each other despite that's a big topic. I don't cover that in my book. About loving each other. Loving, can you put that back up again, please? Loving each other despite the differences. Okay. You have to make sure you're here, Fairgoer 2090. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Would anybody else like me to talk about a specific topic? I was thinking something simple, please. Not anything too difficult. Something simple. That's a good one. A topic about broken families. Yes, thank you, Fairgoer. That's a great topic. Okay. Anybody else? I need at least a good amount of topics. I had another one in mind that my sister told me. Anybody else? Or do you have another one? Do you have another one? What is it? Oh, Fairgoer 2091. What topic am I thinking of? The topic I was thinking of is your authentic self. What do you think of that? Do you like that topic? Your authentic self? Do you like that topic? You think it's great? All right. Okay. I still need a couple more topics though. We're going to be here till Sunday. And I have three topics. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I've done everything. I've done love. I've done sadness. I've done like all the feelings that are in my book. How about a topic? I've done friendship already. Thank you, Tuan, on friendship. I've already done the friendship. Can you bring that one back up, please? I didn't read the second half. How some friends are more like family rather than your own. Friends are more like family rather than your own. That's true at sometimes. I don't know if there's any material out there. I can look. You have to be here to hear it, Fairgoer. Fairgoer 2091. Friends are more like family. That's a good one. I like that. Friends are more like family. I hope you don't get offended, Mom, because it's not about you. Because other people are going through this. I'm doing this for people. Okay, go ahead. Take it away. Okay. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 topics. Do we have any more? I need some more. Maybe tomorrow we can get some more. Oh no, I gotta close. I gotta close actually. Maybe tomorrow, or should we get 2 more? What do you think? You guys have done a great job. I'll give you that. You've done a fantastic job. I'm like, where are dads closest? What are dads closer to their daughters and boys are closer to their moms, maybe? That's interesting. Maybe? I'll look it up. Dads. I don't think, I'll look it up, but I don't know if that's actually true. Dad's closer to daughter. Boys are closer to moms. Okay. I wrote it down. Thank you, Fairgoer 2091. Because I got to come up with like a couple pages of this. That's why. I got to come up with a couple pages of this. That's why. So I got to do the research on this. So that's why. Think about something that has affected maybe you or a friend of yours, like that. Think of it like that in some kind of aspect. But we're at a time now where I probably have to do something. Huh. Excuse me. Relationships about stepdads and stepmoms and how they treat kids that are not their own. Ooh. Fairgoer 2093. That's a good one. Keep that up. I started right. Relationships about stepdads and stepmoms, and how they treat kids that not okay, that's a good one. I like that. Okay, I think that's great. Thank you guys. Oh, somebody has something here. Fairgoer 2093 says, I have a friend whose stepmom is not treating him right. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. She does not let him sleep, or even she does not let him eat or even sleep at home. All she does is command him from time to time, and the real dad is not doing anything. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. Something has to be done. How old is this friend of yours? Dreams. Perfect. I took a class on dreams. I was thinking about doing one on dreams, and I wasn't sure if it would be good. Thank you, Dakota. That's fantastic. Finding your passion in today's world. That's fantastic. Passion in okay, that's good, but I must stop. That's fantastic. I'll ask for a few more tomorrow because I must stop. Okay, so thank you guys so much for coming and joining me today to talk about spirituality. I thank you so much for all of the help and getting me with some new topics. So thank you for coming to join me, about letting me tell you a little bit about, in the beginning, about remembering my real life. And we talked about spirituality, and I showed you my original book, but don't remember to pick up your copy of Remembering My Real Life at Amazon.com. Okay, for yourself and for your real friends, and for yourself and for your family. You can get it at Amazon.com. Okay, and I hope you have a great evening. You can get me again here tomorrow at 3 p.m. And if I am your favorite author, please hit that beautiful little heart in the corner, so I am your favorite booth. Okay? Have a great evening, and I will see you again here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Have a great night, and goodbye.